Hello, my name is Brad Hambrick, and I wanted to take a few minutes to describe for you the new series of books, the church-based counseling series that I've started in cooperation with New Growth Press. Now, you might ask, what is the impetus, what is the focus of this series? And so I invite you to think of it in terms of kind of two core values that have long been a part of those who love counseling and love the church. We want to restore Christ to counseling and counseling to the church. And you take the first half of that and you look at the books like maybe those behind me, and you recognize that that's something that we've been doing with increasing excellence for decades. And you take the second half of that and you say, I think this is an area where we still struggle. Because you get books like these and you go to conferences and you bring them to the author and you say, this is great. I underlined it. I've discussed it with a lot of people, but how do we do it? If you will, we run up against the struggle that it's very hard to run a book. How do you implement it? What does the model look like? What is it that we're asking the caregiver to do and be? And how does that fit in the life of the church? That is the question that motivates everything in the church-based counseling series. That's why the first book in that series is Mobilizing Church-Based Counseling. If you will, this offers you the blueprints of what are the different models of care, the different layers of level of confidence that we could cultivate within the life of the church. How do we put those into words well enough so that people in our churches have an idea of what we mean when we say we want to start a counseling ministry? Because that word can mean a lot of different things. This book helps give you categories for that. What are the different ethical implications for increasing the formality or the level of training for a helper? Like, when do we cross lines that we need to know where those lines are and what rules change when you cross them? That is everything that mobilizing is meant to help you understand. The second book is Facilitating Counseling Groups. Because group-based counseling is one of those models that is championed in mobilizing. And if you want to run a group-based counseling ministry, this book is meant to help you train your leaders to do that, your lay leaders. That this book and a good curriculum, and you should be able to start a group-based counseling ministry. The one that we've done for over a decade here at the church where I serve that is proposed is called G4, but this book also teaches you how to use lots of other excellent group-based counseling curriculum that exist. Now, there'll be a third polka-dotted book in that series called Transformative Friendships. Comes out in just a couple of months. My heart for that book is that when we create a counseling ministry, I don't want that to devalue the quality and depth of friendships in your church. As you start to create more formal options, I don't want, when people are hurting, for them intuitively to think, I have to go to the counseling ministry, or the people who lead at your church to go, well, if you're crying, you should go to the counseling ministry. We want a counseling ministry to be one option, but we want a deep and rich and good and highly accessible option to be the friendships in your church. And so Transformative Friendships looks at how do you cultivate a culture of friendship in your church so that inadvertently a counseling ministry doesn't undermine the one another ministry in your church. Now, not all of the books in the church-based counseling series will have polka dots. Some of them will begin to have artworks and graphics like this. These are the series of G4 curriculum that will begin to come out. Things like addiction, destructive relationships, false love and true betrayal for sexual addiction and the betrayal of that, eating disorders, trauma, depression, anxiety, some of the curriculum that allow you to implement this material very well. And that is phase one, that you should begin to hear. This is a series that's going to help give me implementable models of sustainable care that have been well thought out and field tested for your local church. Local churches of any size, from your small bivocational faithful pastor serving, looking to mobilize people who can do work, to your large churches that are going to do this with just more groups and more scale. And that is the first wave of the church-based counseling series. Wave 2 will start to come out with that. The response even to these early books has been very exciting and encouraging. Some of that next wave is when it's not just groups or not just mentoring, what are other things that we can do and implement and need to understand in the life of our church? But what I wanted to do in this initial video is just to give you a sense for the type of adventure that these first 2 books and the series that comes behind them is getting ready to equip you and your church to go on to care for people with excellence in the life of your local church. Thank you.